I Spit on Your Grave. Now this one obviously is the remake to the 1978 film I Spit on Your Grave, aka Day of the Woman. I'm actually going to quickly critique that one, then I'm going to go into this one. Both films have to do with a female novelist who secludes herself from the city, goes to a log cabin so she can focus and write on her next novel. She runs into some slack-jawed yokels and they rape, they torture her, they torment her. Yeah, these guys are not gentlemen. Some time passes by, her heels wound, she goes crazy and she goes out for revenge. And yes, we want to see her get her revenge. Now when it comes to the original film, I saw it, I think 2 or 3 years ago. That was the first time I saw it, and I saw it for a number of reasons. One, it's considered one of the most controversial films ever, and anytime there's a controversial film, I'm there. I love controversy. 2, Roger Ebert's famous 0-star review where he called the movie, or was it something like a vile bag of garbage? That was harsh. And 3, I read so much reviews on it, so much write-up on it, saying that she is raped and tortured non-stop for like an hour. I read a lot of exaggerated claims. Truth is, I think, in general, altogether, she's probably raped and tortured for about, I think, 40 minutes, which is long enough. Don't get me wrong, I take no pleasure in seeing a woman get raped or beaten, but I just want to know how they do it. How they film something so banned where this movie is banned in so many countries, or was banned at some point. So I saw the movie. At the time, it was actually hard to find. The movie, to be honest, was shit. The movie is still shit. Really awful acting, bad direction. I mean, it's a 70s exploitation flick, so you don't expect it to look like a film directed by Martin Scorsese. But the thing is, it was just an ugly film to watch. Not just because of the rape, but it was just a shitty movie. The movie for its time must have been insane, but it's still disturbing till this day. But mostly because it's just a shit film. To me, I think the kills in that movie were very disappointing. They just died quickly. The famous line from the trailer is, she will cut and chop and burn these guys beyond recognition. But she never burns them. They just die quickly. They don't suffer. They need to suffer. Yes, you have the famous castration scene. That shit's nasty. And that's good. But you needed to see more of that. Plus the way she goes about getting close to the guys, she tries to seduce them just to have them be drawn to her. That's a true statement, I guess, when it comes to woman empowerment. It doesn't work. It doesn't feel right. She's just like way too comfortable trying to seduce them. I don't know, call me crazy, but I'm thinking if a woman is raped by somebody, she's gonna flinch and be nervous just being 10 yards away from the guy. But she gets to him, she kills him, and no problem. It just doesn't feel right. If you want to go deep and say that the movie is about the dark side of humanity, well then you can justify the movie for what it is, but truth is, it's a shit film. It's not well executed. And like I said, those kills were bullshit. Those guys got off way too easily. So I honestly give that movie 2 stars out of 5. It's a cult classic. I respect it. Hell, I would even want it in my collection. But as a film in general, nah. So now we have the 2010 I Spit on Your Grave. And I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but I like it. Obviously, this movie is not for the squeamish. It's not technically a good film, but as far as remakes go, they took everything that they saw from the original and made it a whole lot more realistic and reasonable. Well, for the most part. First off, the acting's actually pretty good. I mean, it's not Oscar-worthy or nothing like that, but the actors really understood their characters. They did what they had to do. The actress in this movie is named Sarah Butler. She's actually really cute. What I liked is she wasn't a voluptuous woman. Kind of skinny, very athletic, nothing to write home about, but, you know, she was attractive. But seeing her walk by wouldn't exactly pick up the lust factor. And I think that works for the movie because you got all these guys cloaking her and doing the horrible acts that they do to her. Not that any woman deserves it, but she didn't deserve it. She wasn't asking for it. And I don't know, there's some kind of an innocence to her. I don't know what it is. She's just a normal girl. She's trying to do her novel. Just wants to be left alone. She's not conceited. She doesn't deserve anything that happens to her. The guys that were in the movie, they really played their characters well, but they weren't like overly stereotypical. There's just a lot of little things in this movie that they just excelled from the original. One, the rape sequences, they're bad. This woman goes through some horrible shit. However, there comes a point where she blacks out. You don't actually see each guy rape her. In the original, they didn't leave too much to the imagination. This one does. Not that you should be imagining what's going on. But this doesn't exactly shove it all in your face. It's just more well done. And I like the fact that she actually tries to fight back. But then, of course, once she escapes from their clutches, she just disappears. They try to kill her, but they don't get a chance. And they actually fear that she's gonna go to the police. So they spend some time looking for her. I'm thinking they spend at least a month or two trying to find her. And when they can't find her dead body, they actually worry. Then, as I said, some time passes by, they think everything's okay, they assume she's dead. Then she comes back, she actually plays mind games with the fuckers. And when it comes to getting her revenge, oh boy. The revenge scenes in this movie are brutal, disgusting, shocking, everything you need them to be. She doesn't get prettied up, she doesn't doll herself up, she doesn't try at all to seduce these guys. No, she goes out for straight bloody revenge, and it's sweet. At one point, she does get the attention of one of the guys by wearing some Daisy Dukes, but as soon as he gets close to her, she turns around and knocks the fucker out with a crowbar. The castration scene, does it compare to the original? Fuck no, it's better. She tortures the living shit out of the guy, and then she does the castration. All the torture scenes are just intense, they are just wow. You want to see these assholes suffer, you will see them suffer. If you like shit like Hostel and Saw and torture porn, this is definitely a movie for you. I know it actually sounds quite disturbing to actually recommend a movie like this. It's not very easy to actually admit the fact that I like this movie. It's not easy. But considering what she has to go through, it's actually justified. She thugs these guys up, and that's what you need to see. After what they did to her, they fucking deserve it. So obviously, as I said, this is not for the squeamish. This isn't even for the casual film watcher. This is a very nasty film. When you compare this to the original, you have to admit, this is a better film. They do go for a little more realism. The only thing that may not be realistic, as soon as she gets close to these guys, she knocks them all out. She's an athletic woman, but her being able to drag these guys to their room of torture and death kind of stretches the reality of belief. Yes, Jesse, I know that was your criticism, but I'm using it in this review. It was a good point. I'll give you a cookie as payment. But the way I see it, she had so much rage in her, she was just so angry. That type of shit can drive a person to do some crazy shit. I don't know, I liked it. It's not a good movie, but for being a horror film, for being a torture porn film, just seeing the woman get her revenge, I gotta give it 3 stars out of 5. So if you've seen the original, definitely give this a gander. In all reality, of course they didn't have to remake I Spit on Your Grave, but at least they made it into a better film. This is Big Gabe with Stuffed Burrito Entertainment. Join the Stuffed Burrito Revolution and subscribe, comment, give it a thumbs up, and treat women with respect, because you never know what they'll do to you. Wa-cha-cha-cha!